Ladies and gentlemen, when people talk hockey of the last 70 years, there's many names that come into mind for a top 10 player of all time. Everybody from Maurice Richard to Guy Lafleur, Gilbert Perreault, Gretzky, Messier, a lot of the vintage, Bossy, Trottier. But this guy, basically, I still think he's a top 10 hockey player of all time. The only reason why he's dropped in the standings, he could have scored a lot more goals with Boston, but a very bizarre trade from Boston. The Rangers took him out of his home rink, Boston Garden. It maybe cost him 100 goals and maybe 300 extra points. So today we're going to be talking about the big number 7, whose probably politics are so far away from mine, I shouldn't be doing a podcast on him, but I will because I respect him. Hockey Hall of Fame member, Order of Canada recipient, Phil Esposito. Now, Phil Anthony Esposito, born February 20th, 1942, in Dessous, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, is a Canadian former pro hockey player, coach, and executive. Recently celebrated his 80th birthday, and currently he's doing work with his Tampa Bay Lightning as a broadcaster. Now, again, he spent 18 seasons in the NHL for the Blackhawks, Bruins, and Rangers, winning 2 Stanley Cups with Boston, which would never have occurred if he wouldn't have been traded for Chicago for a nondescript player that I don't want to even mention, but we'll get into in a few minutes. He, and again, considered one of the greatest players of all time, and he's the older brother of a fellow Hall of Famer, Chicago Blackhawk and Montreal Canadian Tony Esposito, who recently passed away. Now, after retiring, he served as head coach and GM for the Rangers for 2 years. In 91, he and his younger brother co-founded the Tampa Bay Lightning, the first expansion NHL team in Florida. Of course, he won 3 cups since. The elder Esposito served as the franchise's first president and GM until 98. Again, he now serves as Tampa Bay's radio color commentator. In 2017, Esposito was named one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. His number 7 jersey was also retired by the Bruins on December 3rd, 87, in a very dramatic ceremony where Ray Bourque took off number 7 to show his new jersey, number 77. And there was also a statue of his likeness at Tampa Bay's Amalie Arena. Now, 6'1", look bigger than that in skates, ladies and gentlemen. He signed with the Blackhawks as a teenager and was sent to the Sarnia Legionnaires, which was a junior B hockey team for the 61 season. In just 32 games with the Legionnaires, he had 47 goals and 61 assists for 108 points, a scoring pace of 3.3 points per game. In one playoff contest, he scored 12 points in that match as the Legionnaires advanced to the Western Ontario Final before being eliminated. After a sparkling junior season with the St. Catharines TPs of the OHA in 62, he spent 2 seasons with Chicago's minor league affiliate, the St. Louis Braves, notching 90 points in his first season and only 80 points in his only 46 contests in his second. Midway through the 64 season, Esposito was called up to the parent Blackhawks to make his NHL debut. Centering for the great Bobby Hull line beginning in the 65 season, he proved himself a quality playmaker, twice finishing amongst the league-leading scorers over the next 3 seasons. Now, but in 1967, in what's still considered a heavy salary dump, he was traded to the Bruins in a very bizarre deal. Jack Norris, Pitt Martin, and Gilles Marat went to Chicago for Ken Hodge Sr., Phil Esposito, and Fred Stanfield. So they were trading the capacity for 15 goals for the capacity for 120 goals. Not a good trade for Chicago. Now, when this deal occurred, Hodge and Stanfield rose to become stars in Boston, and Esposito blossomed into the greatest scorer of his day. In 69, he became the first NHL player to score 100 points in a season, far eclipsing the century mark with 126 overall points. He would fall a single point shy in 1970, then reach triple digits again the next 5 years running. Along the way, he captured the Art Ross trophy as a top regular season scorer in 69 and 71 to 74, and led the league in goals 6 straight seasons between 1970 and 1975. He was named to the NHL's first All-Star team 6 consecutive times from 69 to 74, and won the Hart as MVP in 69-74. His Boston fans, celebrating his scoring touch during his heyday, displayed bumper stickers that read, "Jesus saves," Espo scores on the rebound. Esposito, while not a fast or graceful skater, was best known for his immovable presence in the slot, called the opposition's net in the front, which he could score from all angles, and we saw that against the Russians in '72. We'll get to that in a minute. Espo has said, scoring is easy. You simply stand in the slot, take your beating, and shoot the puck in the net. He also possessed a combination of skating and stick handling ability, strength, and long reach that enabled him to rag the puck, holding on to it for long periods of time in the face of opponents' checks and thus enabling his team to kill off penalties. During his prime, Espo centered one of the most renowned forward lines in history, with Hodge at his right side and Wayne Cashman on his left. Espo and fellow superstar Bobby Orr led the Bruins to Stanley Cup victories in 70-72 and first-place finishes in the league in 71 and 72 and 74. 71, he lost to the Habs in the opening round. 74, lost to Flyers in the finals. During 71, Esposito shattered the record for most goals in a season, finishing with 76. The mark stood until 82, when Wayne Gretzky scored his 77th, 78, and 79 against the Sabres on February 24, 82, at the Odd in Buffalo. Espo was on hand to present the game puck to Gretzky. Espo also set the single-season point-scoring record in 71 with 152, a mark later raised by Gretzky to 215. Only 3 others have reached the 150-point plateau. Barry Lemieux 4 times, Stevie Eisenman and Bernie Nichols. And only Gretzky, Lemieux, Brett Hull, Timo Solani, and Alexander McGillney have matched or bettered Espo's 76 goals in a season. The 1970 season also saw Esposito shatter the single-season mark for shots on goal, tallying, get this, 550. Only one other player has come within 100 shots of this record, Alexander Ovechkin in 2009, in a season that was 4 games longer than when he was set. So put this in general perspectives. 76 games, that would mean more than 7 shots per game, ladies and gentlemen. As of May 31st, 2021, Espo ranked second in all-time regular season goals for Boston with 459, behind only Johnny Busick's 545. At the end of the 2021 season, Espo was tied for second spot with Patrice Bergeron, the all-time playoff goals for the Bruins with 46. Both men trailed Cam Neely's career mark of 55. Espo holds the Boston record for most playoff hat tricks with 4, one of which was a 4-goal performance versus Toronto in 1969. Often used to kill penalties, Esposito scored 20 short-handed goals for Boston over his career. Now, after his performance in the Summit Series, where he was the inspirational leader for Canada and his leading scorer in the series, where he won 3 straight to win the series 4-3-1 in Russia, Espo won the 72 Lou Marsh Trophy as Canada's Outstanding Male Athlete of the Year and was made an Officer of the Order of Canada. He also scored the first goal of the series and scored or assisted 4 times in the deciding game. During that series, his scolding of the Canadian fans in Vancouver, who booed the team after a 5-2 loss to the Soviet Union in the key Game 4, was credited with firing up his teammates. Well, you can see it on YouTube, but I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. If the Russian fans boo their players in Moscow like you people are booing us, I'll come back and apologize personally to every one of you. But I really don't think that will happen. We gave it and we're doing our best. All of us guys are really disheartened. We came out here because we love Canada. They're a good hockey team, and we don't know what we could do better, but I promise we'll figure it out. But it's totally ridiculous. I don't take it as fair that we should be booed. Literally, it happened early in the game where Frank Mahovich and Bill Goldsworthy were up to kind of a little bit of dirty tactics, and the Vancouver fans really turned on him. And Espo, you could see him on the bench, he was really frustrated. Now, Espo played several times with Team Canada, including inaugural Canada Cup in '76, on a line again with Bobby Hull, and of all people, Marcel Dion. What a great line that was that year, ladies and gentlemen. The following year, he would represent Canada once more in the '77 Worlds, and drew a lot of controversy because he was forced to wear a helmet. And in the last game, he gave the old Phil Esposito salute to the referee. No joke. Now, in '76, Esposito was traded because he did not relinquish his playing time, even with his age. He and Carol Vadnais were traded to the Rangers in exchange for Hall of Famer Brad Park, Joe Zanussi, and Hall of Famer Jean Martel. The trade was monumental, as Espo was still a great scorer, but Rattel was a skilled center, and Park was arguably the second-best defenseman in the NHL behind Orr. As a result of the trade, Boston made the finals twice, and Rangers made it once, all against Montreal, and losing all 3 times. While not as glittering an offensive force as his glory days, as captain of the Rangers, he led the team in points each of his full seasons with the club, and remained an effective scorer until his final season. The highlight of his years in New York was again leading the Rangers Stanley Cup final, where at age 37 he finished third in postseason scoring. Now, he scored a 600 goal against Canucks on November 4th, 1977, becoming the first player to reach that milestone. When he retired in 1981, behind only Gordie Howe in career goals and total points, he was third in assists to Howe and Stan Mikita. Now, he was GM and coach of the Rangers for 3 years in the mid-'80s. During the time, he earned the nickname Trader Phil, Trader, not Traitor, for the numerous transactions he made. During his tenure as GM, he made more trades than the Vancouver Canucks had made in an entire 1980s. While serving as GM, 2 of his most famous trades include the deal for the legendary Marcel Dion, and one of which he sent a first-round pick to the Nordiques as compensation for signing the Tigre, Michel Bergeron, to be the Rangers' new head coach. When Espo moved on to found the Tampa Bay Lightning, he faced competition from the CompuWare Group, which wanted to place the team in St. Petersburg. It was proposed to Esposito that he merge his bid with the CompuWare Group, but which he refused. His reputation and force of personality was widely credited with winning the expansion bid for Tampa Bay. In 1992, serving as the team's president and GM until 1998, CompuWare eventually purchased the Whalers, moving them to Carolina later on. In the Lightning's inaugural season, Espo made hockey history by signing female goalie Manon Rhéaume, making her the first woman to sign with an NHL team. Again, he remains the team's radio commentator and also co-hosts a daily call-in show on Sirius XM's NHL network. Now, when he was elected to Hockey Hall of Fame in 1984, 3 years later, his number 7 jersey retired by the Bruins. In an emotional ceremony where the then current wearer, superstar Ray Bourque, pulled off his number 7 jersey to reveal his new number 77, dramatically surrendering his old number in Espo's favor. Now, coincidentally, Espo wore 77 with the Rangers because number 7 had already been worn by Rod Gilbert. Espo was visibly moved when Bourque showed the Garden crowd his new number, which he used for the rest of his career. Espo was also on hand in Boston to hand Bourque his retired number after the latter was retired. Espo's younger brother, again, is an honor member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, and former NHL player Alexander Selvianov is Espo's son-in-law. Awards and achievements, very, what a record, ladies and gentlemen. Second All-Star team, 68-75. NHL All-Star game, 69-75, 77-78 in 1980. Art Ross winner, 69 and 71-74 inclusive. Hart winner, 69-74. NHL First All-Star team, 69-74. Stanley Cup champion, 70-72. Lester B. Pearson Award winner, 71-74. Golden by the American Academy of Achievement, 72. Lou Marsh, Canadian Athlete of the Year, 72. Lester Patrick Trophy winner, 78. Hockey Hall of Fame winner, 84. 7 retired, Boston, 87. Retired as second leading all-time goal and point scorer, third of assists. Among the all-time NHL leaders in goals scored, 7th, assists 21st, and total points 10th. First player to reach 100 points in 69. First player in NHL history to score 1,000 points in a decade, in the 1970s. Most shots on goal in the season, 550 and 71. Game-winning goals with 118, tied by fellow Bruin Jaromir Jagr on April 21st, 2013. 13 consecutive 30-goal seasons, second most in NHL history. In 98, he was ranked number 18 to Hockey News list of the 100 greatest hockey players. I would have him top 10, no doubt. Inducted in the Ontario Sports Hall of Fame in 2004. Inducted in 2007 alongside brother Tony into the Sault Ste. Marie Walk of Fame. In the 100 Book of 100 Rangers Greats, ranked number 23, received a star in the Italian Walk of Fame in Toronto in 2009, statue unveiled in his honor in front of the Tampa Bay Times Forum in 2011, inducted in the Florida Sports Hall of Fame in 2016, and in 2017 again named one of the 100 greatest NHL players in history. Now, the goal totals are like this, ladies and gentlemen. From 65 on. 23, 27, 21, 35, 49, 43, 76, 66, 55, 68, 31, 35, 34, 38, 42, 34, and 70s last season. And playoff totals were just tremendous. Final NHL totals: 1,282 games, 717 goals, 1,590 points, 61 goals, and 37 points and 130 playoff games. The Canada Cup in 1972, 13 points in 8 games, 7 goals. 7 series. Canada Cup in 76, 7 points in 7 games. World Championships for Canada, 10 points in 10 games. In 77, 7 goals. In popular culture too, Espo and his teammates Rod Duguay, Dave Maloney, and Anders Hedberg famously appeared in a TV commercial for South designer jeans in 79. And in 79, Espo and Ranger teammates recorded a song written by Alan Thicke as a fundraiser for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation called Hockey Sock Rock. Espo has also been involved in drama. He made an appearance in the 2015 animated Christmas special, The Curse of Claire, A Holiday Tale, both as a young ballet dancer's emerging mentor and as the actual person performing a cameo in a Nutcracker. He voiced the Royal himself. Espo also appeared in a recurring role for several episodes as a fire chief in Dennis Leary's FX show Rescue Me. Now, as it stands right now in 2022, you'll never see another Phil Esposito again because obviously the penalties would be called for his type of play in front of the net. But he invented the screen of the goalie, or perfected it. It was done in the 30s and 40s, but he perfected it because he wasn't scared to go in front of the net. But I tell you something, you don't get many. And the little story about Esposito, he had all these talismans. He was always a believer of luck or good luck pieces and stuff like that. Like his locker room was filled. It would be different like talismans and different, to ward off bad luck, lucky charms and stuff like that. It's quite an interesting guy. Now I've never interviewed Esposito, but he's a very, very bullheaded guy. When he puts something in his mind, like him and Bobby Orr supporting Trump, don't know why he did that. 2 Canadian heroes like that supporting an American despot, but that's not the point. The idea, Esposito, Boston should have won 5 or 6 cups with Esposito and Bobby Orr, but because of bad luck, because of the Flyers in Montreal was quite strong. When you're a top 1 or top 2 teams for many years that Boston was. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, if you like pure offense like the Edmonton Oilers in the Boston Bruins, Esposito, can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen? It shocks the mind. There was talks that the Rangers were going to trade Esposito. Imagine if Glenn Sader, a former Ranger, would have brought Esposito into Edmonton for Wayne Gretzky. It boggles the mind. He could have played another 5 years. I think Esposito retired too soon. He could still play. He was in great shape. He could play to his 60s like Gordie Howe. But boys, oh boys, the games in Russia, when he was on the bench and he was doing the throat cut, I don't think we'll ever see that again, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like what we're doing with our Boston Bruins Vintage Podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe. And all I can say, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a person of a certain age, used to go to the Boston Garden in the 60s and 70s. It was like heaven to see the Stanley Cup be hoisted up in Boston Garden in 1970 after the Bobby Orr, what they call the great overtime flying goal, the great overtime goal. Maybe that led to the Boston Red Sox finally winning the World Series because they lost a few times, but the spirit of those Boston Bruins team is deep into the Boston sports fabric, just like the Celtics as well. And, Boston is title town, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's bizarre to think of that after what happened in 1986 because the Celtics, to win in Boston is the hardest place to win because everybody wants to beat Boston. You think everyone beats the Yankees. Everybody wants to beat Boston, even for hockey in 2022. I know Toronto fans want to beat Boston. Anyway, thanks for listening. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, as we say in Northern Brunswick, just like Espo, keep your stick in the ice. Thanks for listening. Bye.